Hello, class. So you've had a few days to kind of start looking at Project 4. So I'm just going to go over the first tab, investing, tonight. So what we're looking at for investing is the company wants to make a decision about a large purchase. And that purchase is going to improve our cash flows. And so we're looking at it in several different ways to decide whether the purchase satisfies the company's requirements. In other words, does the purchase make sense for the company? So the first thing that we're going to do here in number 1 is we're simply looking at the company wants to purchase a building and land and equipment. And so we're going to figure out how much the total outflow is. And the reason it says year 0 is because what we're going to do is we're going to look at the outflow compared to the present value of the inflow. So we want to figure out in today's dollars, which is year 0 for us, how much is the land, building, and equipment going to cost us? So question number 1 is just filling in the information. So you're reading through here, and we see that the purchase price of the land is $14 million. So we're just going to put in $14 million. And the purchase price of the building and equipment is $350,000. So we're going to put in $350 million. And then, so what's our total cash flow? You're going to add the two together to figure out what's the total amount that we're going to purchase. So the amount that we're going to spend is $364 million. So that's our outflow at the beginning of the project. So now we're going to start looking at what is our inflow from the project. And there's several components to that. So we have this secret project, and we have some estimates. So here's the 20 years that we expect the project to bring in additional cash. In this column is the revenue that's going to come in each period. And in this column are the expenses that are going to be incurred in order to earn that revenue. This column is depreciation. But since we're looking at cash flows, depreciation is not included. Depreciation is not included because depreciation is not a cash expense. This is our taxable income. So this isn't an expense either. This is the amount of income that will be taxable. This is the tax that we're going to pay. And then this is our final net income. So when we're looking at cash flows, what we really have is adding the revenue, subtracting the expenses, and subtracting the income tax expense. And that's going to give us our after cash amount. So if we look here at the $61.83, and we look up here at this formula, we can see that we've taken N7 minus N7 minus Q7, and that's what gives us our after cash flow in millions. Now that you understand that, the nice thing about this is it's already input for you, so we can copy straight down. Depreciation ends at 10 years because it has a 10-year life. It also doesn't affect our formula. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go down to this category. I'm going to drag this down. There we go. And I'm going to drag this down. And that fills in all of my taxable income. And you can see where taxable income comes from. If you look at this formula, our taxable income is our revenue minus our expenses minus depreciation, because depreciation does count for tax purposes. It is an expense for that. So that's where we got our taxable income in millions. And then our tax is going to be our taxable income times our tax rate of 27.5%. So I'm going to go ahead and just carry this on down, copy it, and I'm going to copy this on down. And our net income, I'm going to copy this down. And I'm going to copy this down. And I showed you how these came. I'm going to copy them down. All right. So what I have now is our after cash inflow in millions for each year of this project. All right, that answers number 2. Now we're on question number 3. So here we are with question number 3. We want to create an after-tax cash flow timeline. And we're starting with the year zero. So what year zero is that's the investment. So I would say normally go up there and copy the $364 million, but we've shortened these, like it's not $61.83, it's $61.83 million. So we're simply going to put a minus because it's an outflow, whereas all the rest are inflows. Minus, and we'll do 364. So we spent $364 million in year zero, and then these are the amounts that we bring in each year after that. So they're already, so 6183, it's saying go take it from S7, which is here. And then 6473, saying go take it from N31. Go take it from S8. So all we're going to do is copy these down, and they'll fill in the same numbers that we have in the chart above. The 1160, 1160. And they've given us the 21st year. So what we have here is, this is our outflow, and then this is the inflow each one of these years. Now we're going to do three things with this. We're going to figure out, first, the net present value. So the way net present value works is if we look at Q4, we're told that we're using a 7% discount rate. So I'm going to put 7% here. What that 7% means is that's the rate that the company needs to earn to consider the project a viable project. And what we're going to do with our net present value formula is what we're really doing is we're saying, okay, if I took the $61.83 million and discounted it back 1 year at 7%, what would it be? And then did that for each one of these. This one back 2 years at 7% and 3 years at 7%. When I'm all done, how much of this $364 million have I recouped? And I'm going to use a formula for that. So I'm going to go up here to formulas, and I'm going to go to financial, and I want net present value. These are alphabetical. So I'm going to go down here to net present value. The rate is the 7%. The values are going to be starting at the outflow and taking into consideration all the inflows. And then I could just say, okay. So I'm looking for any positive number. Anything greater than 0 means that the project is earning 7%. If it's 0, it means the project earns 7%. So actually, anything 0 or greater means that the project is a good investment for the company, because what the company has told us is that they want to get at least 7% rate of return. And we're getting more than that. All right, now we're going to look at our internal rate of return. So our internal rate of return, we're going to go up here to our formulas. You definitely want to use Excel for the internal rate of return because it requires guessing. So what the internal rate of return is going to tell us is we obviously know that it's more than 7%. So now we're going to go figure out, well, what is it? Here we go. All I know is my people. So internal rate of return. So my values are going to be this. I don't have to put a guess in. So I'm just going to say, okay. So this is earning, this project is earning 18.38% is what this is telling me. 18.38%. And I'm only asking for, I'm only requiring 7%. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is number 6. So what we want to do with number 6 is we're just looking at the payback period. The payback period is like a down and dirty first kind of analysis item because the payback period doesn't take into consideration the time value of money. All we're looking at is how long does it take for us to recoup the money that we invested. So with this, what we're going to say is, okay, we've spent $364 million. In the first year, we had spent $364 million, but we had gained $61.83. So now we have a net expense of $302 million. So this column is all of these. So I'm just going to copy this down, same one that we just calculated and copied above. There we go. We could go all the way down, but I happen to know we don't need to. And then I'm going to copy this down. And what I'm looking for is, when does it go from negative to positive? So as you can see, here is where it goes from negative to positive. That means it's somewhere between the 5th and the 6th year, and about in the middle, since I'm going from 25 to 50. So at about 5.5 years, I have recouped my $364 million investment. That's what that tells us. Okay, I will look at financing tomorrow or Saturday. You are always welcome to call me if you have questions. Thanks. Have a good weekend.